This week, Wendy SHAY revealed that her songs have accumulated 25 billion views on TikTok. And I'm here to tell you that if Wendy SHAY was a US-based artist, she would have been sitting on $1 million right now. If she was a Europe-based artist, she would have been sitting on $600,000 right now. But because she is a Ghanaian artist based in Accra, Ghana, she's going to get $0 from TikTok from her accumulated views of 25 billion. In 2025, in this hyper-digitized, hyper-globalized world, geography is still the biggest hindrance to the financial prosperity of African artists. Why is that the case? My name is Enebi Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer based in the US. And when I saw Wendy SHAY post that her songs have accumulated almost 25 billion views, my first thought was, where does Wendy SHAY live? Because I have been in the business of media for over a decade, so I understand that even though it looks like the whole world is on the internet, where you live physically affects how much money you make. And it doesn't matter how much work you are doing, right? If Wendy SHAY was making the same Botos Watcher song and she was living in the US, I just told you how much you'll be making. If she was living in her other country, Germany, I just told you how much she'll be earning. But because she's in Accra, Ghana, she is not going to be receiving anything. So TikTok have something they call the creator fund, right? Where TikTok pays creators who have high number of views and engagement on the platform. But this creator fund is not open to everybody in the world. Only certain countries in the world are eligible for it. The US, the UK, Germany, France, Spain, and Italy are some of the countries for which this program is eligible. So for you to be able to make money from the TikTok Creator Fund, you have to be 18 years and above, living in any of these countries to apply for the program, right? If you're an artist, there's another program that you can make money from, and it's called music licensing, right? So music licensing is you, the artist, will license your song to TikTok. You can license your masters, where when people use the specific song that you made, you can get money from that. Or you can license the publishing, where when somebody remixes your song-ish or use your song and add something to it on TikTok, you'll be paid for that too. So these are three forms of making money off TikTok. But the way these programs are set up, you can't make money from it if you are not living in the specific countries I just mentioned. Of course, there are other ways of making money on TikTok, like sponsorship and the rest. But sponsorship means that you, the creator, have to be contacted by another brand or that. But if you are living in the US, by the mere fact that your product is accumulating views, you're getting money from TikTok. So I believe that because Wendy SHAY is based in Accra and signed to a Ghanaian label, Rough Town Records, she's not going to make money from TikTok, even though she's eligible to make $1 million from TikTok. Let me give you another example. Tems and Tyler. Tems is a Nigerian artist signed to a Nigerian label, but Tems is also signed to an American label. So because Tems is signed to an American label, the American label makes it possible for Tems to make money off TikTok. Tyler is also signed to an American label. Because Tyler is signed to an American label, it makes it possible for Tyler to make money off TikTok. Wendy SHAY, as of 2024, when I checked, she's not signed to any international label. So Wendy SHAY is not making money off TikTok because of that. This is why Afrobeat artists don't need American labels, don't need European labels to make it, because we have the internet. Afrobeat artists and African artists don't have any choice but to sign to these foreign labels, because that is the only way we can utilize all the ways which money is available to us. Again, geography. That's the only hindrance to our financial prosperity. You know that Ghanaian saying that when you are born on top of a hill, it takes you a shorter time to grow tall. So if you are born in Africa and you're a creative person, at this point, the way to maximize your creativity is by changing your geographical location. Even though digitization is supposed to make it easier for you to make money without leaving your geographical location. Most of my friends in Ghana, when 2020 remote work became available in Ghana, the last thing they wanted to do was leave Ghana. They just wanted to stay in Ghana and make money off the internet. But if you're in a creative space, that becomes increasingly difficult. Because I know some creative people, what they'll do is they'll move to the US for some time, get a work permit in the US, and pay tax in the US and move back to Ghana. And so they live in Ghana, work in Ghana, but they are able to make money just because we're able to live in the US for some time. That is a big problem where your ability to maximize, I keep repeating that your creativity is dependent on your geographical location. Even though we are living in this age of the world is small, it's still big if you are at the wrong geographical location. And I want to call out TikTok on this. From 2020 till today, one of the biggest drivers of content creation on TikTok is African creatives. Not just African musicians, dancers, and even journalists. Let me explain. In the 2024 election, one of the battle cries of the Trump campaign was the "Why Are You Gay" video. That video became associated with the Trump campaign because Trump's campaign was anti-transgender, and the content of that video plays into the politics and philosophy of the Trump campaign. So I live in a red state. I live in a place where people vote for Trump a lot. Whenever people here have an African accent, one of the first things they say to me is, "Why are you gay?" I don't get offended. I don't care. But it made me realize how popular that video is. I'm pretty sure that video has been used on TikTok billions of times. But that creator can make money off that video just because he made that video in Uganda. So his video was so popular, it was a contributing factor to Trump becoming the president of the United States, but he can't make money off that video directly because of his geographical location. That's why the guy who made that video now is working with other American creatives and do Tate and the rest, because that's the only way he can make money off his fame, not directly. So what you get to if you're an African creative in 2025 is fame. Bro, who needs fame when you need money? So TikTok need to understand that African creatives are part of the reason TikTok is doing well. Because the whole dance challenge thing, the reason why dance challenge was easy for Africans to pick up on was because we've been doing it for years. From 2010, when Azonto started from Ghana and took over Africa and the world, a lot of the biggest YouTube content creators from Ghana, Africa, and the UK were dancers. So when TikTok came around, these dancers and the people they inspired jumped onto TikTok because the discovery algorithm on TikTok is better. And of course, these people brought the dance challenge, and now almost every song in the world can get big without some challenge attached to it. So the African way of promoting music, which we've been doing for ages, the dance challenge, has become synonymous with the TikTok platform. So it is time for TikTok to pay African creators what they are worth. That is all my message. Congratulations on Wendy SHAY. Congratulations to Wendy SHAY for being one of the biggest artists from Ghana currently. I won't be mad if Wendy SHAY, she's half German, right? If Wendy SHAY start claiming she's German instead of Ghanaian, because that would mean that she's going to get over $500,000 just because she is German or she lives in Germany. If Wendy SHAY decides to change her location from Ghana to Germany, she's rich, just like that. That's why a lot of artists like Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, and the rest are now primarily living outside their home country of Nigeria. Sometimes it's not just because they want to perform in these places, it's because it's the only way they can actually even make money from their home country. So I'll look at it this way. One time I was watching an interview on the Breakfast Club, and one of the singers from, is it Sotiso, the Kenyan group, was being interviewed. And DJ Envy asked him that, why do African artists want to come to America so much? And my thought was, why not? Because as of today, the only way African artists can make money, even in their home country on the internet, is by changing their geographical location, right? I'm a YouTube content creator. I have to make sure that not just people in Ghana watch my content, but also people in the US watch my content. Because if people in the US watch my content, I get more money than in Ghana just because of the geographical location. I keep going back to that. It is not lack of creativity. It is not corruption. It is not mediocrity. That is the biggest hindrance to African creators making money. It's just the geography. Of course, all these things I mentioned also exist, but it's not our biggest hindrance. So I just wanted to vent a little bit and share my thoughts on the Wendy Shay situation, and hope TikTok sits up.